Hello everybody, my name is Imanithos, and welcome to Gaming with Spirits Warframe Basics. And also a big mouthful, but we'll get to that later. So what we're going to be doing here today is we're going to showcase Excalibur, Volt, and Mag, and how their related abilities work. So to start off with, we're going to start with the Grineer Soldier, who pretty much everyone has to fight at some point in their time. And where is he is the keyword. Okay, Elite Lancers. Elite Lancers are one of the main enemies that you will find across the board. We're going to do level 20 to kind of show you exactly what we're doing here. I'm also going to... Well, hold up. We're going to do that. And I'm also going to show you this. I'm using a Mark 1 Strund as a weapon with nothing done on it. And I am showing you that my Excalibur has no things built on it. So it is basically the basic of the basic. The only thing I have that's special is the Prisma Skana, because I don't have a regular Skana. So it has a bit more damage, a bit more crit, if I remember correctly. So, to show you a base Mark 1 Strund against a level Elite 20 Lancer. So first, a body shot. Look at that. Took away a third of his health pretty fast, pretty easily. If I did a headshot, he just dies. Now this is a shotgun weapon, which means it's limited to its range. But if we switch over to a Bratton, which most people have, a Bratton Mark 1, or I think a Paris Mark 1 is actually the most basic of weapons. So let's do a Paris Mark 1 to kind of show off. Now even the most basic of weapons itself, the Abra skin. Ooh. Dryad bow would look prettier. That looks really cool. So, we'll do the Stylus arrow, because why not? Or Ketrel? Stylus. Copy colors. Boom. Alright, so we have a pretty looking... Once again, no mods on it. We will simulate the Elite Lancer once again. Now, the problem with bow and arrows, unlike most weapons, is they are limited to their, a single shot, and then you have to charge up and hit it again. Now, headshots, as I just previously mentioned, look how much more damage that does than a body shot. 4? Okay, we're good. So 3 shots with a bow, 2 shots with the Strund Mark 1. Strund Mark 1 can be acquired through the marketplace for, like, I believe, 25 to 50,000 credits. So, something you should think about getting a hold of. Now, obviously, when you're playing with this, you're like, okay, well, yeah, you can kill a level 20 if he's not shooting at you. Yep, that's very true. Or, you could use your abilities, shoot him in the back of the head a few times, watch him go flying off into the distance. God, it's satisfying. So, some of you are going, oh, well, your ability didn't kill him. No. Your abilities, if you're completely unmodded, aren't going to kill. Well, they aren't going to kill him. So we're gonna add on here. We're gonna whoa. We're gonna go all Lancer. So lots of different types of Lancers. So we're going to go with the basic Lancer. Oh, there's even I was fighting big guys. Okay, so we're gonna do a basic Lancer. Let's make 4 of them here. We'll simulate, and we'll show what's gonna happen here. Okay, so Lancers are even a bit easier than Elite Lancers. Oh, he has a lot more health. So, if you crit, apparently, which sometimes happens, their body goes flying away. So, leg shot 174, normal about 87, head shot about 174 with a headshot. So, aim for your heads. Get it? But look at that. My ability does roughly about a fourth of their life bar, which a lot of you are like, oh, see, it doesn't kill them. That's true. Even this ability, well, I think that ability actually did kill them. Let's see if I actually will kill them prior to a small nerf on my part. Okay. So we're almost about done with Excalibur's time. So we have 4 guys here. We're going to show off exactly how this works. Look at that. Look at that. No modding necessary. Your third ability will kill, at maximum rank, I think 11 targets, as long as they're within a cone in front of you. So it won't affect enemies behind you, but that's okay. The other ability you should be focusing on as an Excalibur is your 4th ability. Look at that. Just killed all of them using my 4th ability, and yes, it does drain energy. So here's Excalibur in a nutshell. Excalibur's abilities are as his swords increase damage, and he attacks faster when using them, which is why he has the Skana on, well, mine. Slash and dash does only a 250 damage unmodded, a 12-meter range, but it hits all enemies, which can be super useful. His real bread and butter is his radial blind. That blind effect is a 25-meter duration for 15 seconds where enemies just don't attack you. They can't hurt you. Their accuracy is next to non-existent. If you're running into situations where your Excalibur can't survive, radial blind. You'll knock everybody. You'll make everybody kind of dance around for a few minutes, and they won't be able to shoot you. It's super useful. The next ability, which becomes his second most powerful damaging skill, is Radial Javelin. Now, Radial Javelin, of course, as you saw, is 1,000 damage. It's 4 times the amount of damage as Slash Dash, but it only can hit up to a maximum of 12 targets. Even fully modded, it's all it can do is 12 targets. And again, it's a 25-meter range, so very good range. But it is a very useful skill to build around. Now, last ability is Exalted Blade. And Exalted Blade, mine is completely unmodified, my frame and the weapon, and he has 2.5 energies per second that drains, and he does 250 damage per slash. Now, as you can see here, you can upgrade your Exalted Blade with mods. Prime Pressure Point and Prime Reach and Buzzkill and all kinds of crazy, cracky stuff that you'll just be able to annihilate enemies. So, if you're having trouble with enemies above level 20, it's because you're not using the skills of your Warframe, especially Excalibur, very well. Excalibur has been well known to go into 60, 70, just go on full-on a sortie level 100 enemies and still be able to hold his own fairly well. And that's because Excalibur has 225 base armor at maximum rank. But still, that's his base armor. His base. If you put steel fiber on him, he is 472. He has more armor than he has health. He effectively has like twice the amount of health that he has right now. So if I threw on like something like this that gave him more health, and things that give him, and then, you know, have thing, I don't know, give him some, well, something simple. Most people will have equilibrium at some point. And most people pick up, like, Hunter Adrenaline, for example. Well, not really Hunter Adrenaline, yeah. Most people will eventually pick up Hunter Adrenaline throughout their time, especially if they manage to do any of the missions for Plague Star or any of the bounties in Cetus. Rage is the alternative version if you can't get that otherwise. And now, you can't lose. Unmodded, and I will show you this very quickly here. Unmodded, if I do no longer pause the AI, so they are coming at me full force. Boom. Look at that. They're just sitting there. Let me hit them. That's not because their AI is paused. And then I can slash and dash them with my sword. So Excalibur, first of all, should not be using a bow. He should be using a shotgun because Excalibur needs a close range weapon. But beyond that, Excalibur runs very heavily on his ability. Blind, Radial Javelin, and of course his 4th ability, which is his strongest skill. So when you play with Excalibur, remember his abilities are more powerful, especially when he becomes modded, than almost any weapon can become. Next, we'll move on to Volts. So Volt here, I only have unfortunately Volt Prime because I don't keep the regular versions very long, and you can't get Excalibur Prime anymore. So I will run Volt, and I will take away all of his configurations, so he has baseline everything. And I'll show you his abilities. Now, Volt is one of those Warframes that if you pick him as your starting Warframe, I'm sorry, he's really hard to. He has a very high learning curve. At first, it's just okay. At low level enemies, for example, he can just destroy them. Like if these guys were level 5, for example, and I ran in here. Look at that. Level 5 enemies, one first ability, maybe an arrow to the back of someone else's head, and things are dead. But that's because things are easy. We'll pause the AI gun, go to level 20. And then boom. And what you're going to see is something very different. Did I actually simulate? No, I did not. Oops. What you're going to see is very different from what you saw previously. In this case, we're going to have enemies who are going to be able to take a couple beatings. Look at that. Killed one, the other 3 are still alive. It takes 4 shots by body to actually do enough to be worth the time. Sorry, my stream froze just a touch for a minute there. So some of you are like, okay, so his first ability is not that strong. What about his 4th ability? Almost all Warframe's 4th abilities are pretty good, right? Well, this is where you'd actually be right. One of the things that makes Volt very strong is his 4th ability. But once again, we're left with one guy standing, and you have to shoot him a couple times before he's even going to die. So, compared to Excalibur, Volt is kind of a little bit not as good. But of course, I haven't talked about his other 2 abilities. So, if I remove the pause of the AI, simulate, here's where things get interesting. So I'm taking damage, shield it. They could try hitting me all they want, and I actually deal bonus damage shooting through my shield. Also, on top of that, if you notice, I have this little number up on the top of my screen by my name. It has a number, it keeps going up. What that does is it adds damage to my skills. And now I'm also going to use my second ability here and kind of give you an idea of what this does. So not only does this give me a move speed, this also gives me attack speed. And you can keep casting it. Look at that. Volt is a very well-known frame, and he's very, very strong in his own way. Oops, someone was still alive. I heard it. Thought I heard it. Boom. So yeah, one of Volt's benefits is that he has to build up that charge. And the charge is one of the biggest reasons why he can be so good, but also one of the reasons why he is very temperamental. As it says, his passive is grounded movement generates electrical charge that is unleashed with the next attack. That can be a melee attack. That can even be one of his abilities, including his 4th ability, discharge. So when you play Volt, you have to play around his abilities and how they function. Specifically his passive and how it relates to his shock and his discharge. His speed, if you're willing a melee weapon that you love, it does so much damage, you activate your speed, you can just go in and just annihilate everything. If you're in a situation like I mentioned before, where enemies are shooting you, you don't know how exactly if they're gonna kill you, you're running low on health, throw an electrical shield, deploy your 3rd ability, and that should prevent you from taking any damage. The cool thing is you can also pick up the shield, and I'll show that in just a second here. You can pick up the shield, bloop, by pressing X, and look at that, portable weapon, well, not portable weapon, portable shield. Now, you can't use your primary weapon or 2-handed weapon with it, but you can use a secondary and your melee. I could pick this up and go to town, wham-tam on people with this. And as you move, you might notice that you're losing energy, because that's how this shield works. It drains energy from you, slows you slightly, but gives you a portable defensive net. Now, the last one I'm going to talk about, of course, is going to be Mag. Mag is, in all shapes and form, one of my favorite Warframes. And once again, I only have Mag Prime. I apologize for that. It's going to be very different than what most people are going to be used to, and I will change out so that she does not have any of her really strong mods. But we'll talk about her abilities. So in this, Bullet Jump pulls nearby items in. Now, if you're using Vacuum in your Sentinel, you shouldn't need to worry about her passive. It's still very useful. Secondly, her skills synergize so well together. She's a very complicated but amazing Warframe. In the fact that her second ability, Magnetize, is what everything else pulls around. If you pull someone who's been magnetized, they take extra damage. Look at that. Additional double damage. If you polarize someone and they're magnetized, they take extra damage. If you crush someone, they take additional damage. Basically, magnetizing a target and using any of your abilities makes them take a lot of extra damage. Now, as you notice, pull pulls enemies in, it ragdolls them. Actually, I'll show you this in live action here, just because I think it's much more interesting. So we'll pause the AI here. We'll simulate. And so here's my enemies. Not quite enough. There we go. Look at that. They took like a third of their life in damage, and they got pulled towards me. Now, if I magnetize one of them, if I shoot, look at that. Magnetize creates a bubble that basically gives you auto-targeting. Now, another cool thing about that, and I will show it to you in a minute here. Look at that. Don't even need to worry about it. Again, remember, these are level 20 enemies. These are not level 5. These are level 20. And Mag is easily dealing with them. So we're going to bump these guys up to level 50. Now, some of you might go, wait, what? Yes. Mag is one of, and again, this is Mag Prime. So all the Primes do, they have a slightly higher energy, maybe a slightly higher armor. So I have higher energy capacity. That's it. Maybe a slightly better armor. That's all. Now, watch this. Magnetize, 1, and then crush. Look at that. And then, once again. Look at that. Unmodded. I have no mods on my Warframe or my bow. It's pulling enemies in. I killed them all. And granted, it did take... Oh boy. It did take a little bit of time. Again, I have no mods on any of my weapons or my Warframe itself. And I was still able to kill level 50 enemies with relatively little challenge. And now, we're going to unpause the AI. So you might go, wait, what? Why are you doing that? Won't that kill you? Just watch. Pull them in. Magnetize 1. And stand next to him. Oh, what's wrong, big boy? Can't ship me? Because Magnetize causes even the enemy bullets to be pulled into them. Basically giving you not only auto-targeting, which is absolutely delightful, but also... Ooh. They kill themselves. So now I am out of energy, which is a problem. So I'm going to jump back up here quick, grab some more energy, and jump back down. Now, in a normal game, you'd only be able to get the orbs that you pick up from enemies. But knowing that you can just sit here and just go, I'll polarize. Oh, look, you have no armor now. And then, look at that. In the full use of my energy bar, which I will admit is quite a bit of energy, I was able to kill, well, 3 of 4 level 50 enemies. Now, granted, my Mag Prime is maxed out, but it does not have any mods in it. Now, if I was to show you what the mods can actually do, here's my modded Warframe, and I actually will build a completely different setup just for this. And what I will do here, I have a V polarity, so I want to match the V. So I'll do no, that's not right. I'll do rifle amp. Boop. So now I have more mod capacity. I have a V polarity here, so I'll put in that for primed intensify. So intensify. I have 3 dashes, so I'll put some dashes in there. So we'll do flow, leading expertise, and augur secrets. And then with this, we'll throw in narrow-minded, overextended, and I need more power. Can I do transient? I can do transient fortitude. See, as you see, I'm doing things that give me benefits to everything in the end, even if they have slight disadvantages towards each other, which is fine. My last thing I'll throw in there, augur reach from some additional range. So this is now, and I have one more thing for the Exilus slot, and I will do cunning drift. So here is this Mag Prime build. And it has 114 duration, 160% efficiency, 169 range, and 144% strength. But what does that actually do to my abilities, you might ask? Well, here's the stats without mods. Here's the stats with mods. Now, what that drop chance, by the way, means is that gives you additional chance for loot. Very useful. Most people don't realize it. So now it's almost a 3 times damage multiplier. The polarize almost does a multiplier. Is at 3.6. I have a big magnetized range. So let's do this. We'll bring these guys up to level 100 just for fun. I will probably die, more likely than not. Look at the size of that bubble. I forgot to grab energy. Whoopsie. Okay, so that bubble's about to run out. So we'll polarize. We'll crush. We'll target him. Polarize again. There it is. Oh, it's so mean. It's so mean of me. He's not a happy boy. Oops. Very squishy. Oh my gosh, it's so ridiculous. Look at that. So my Warframe is malmodded. I know there's another one over here somewhere. Maybe I killed them all. Oh, maybe I killed them all. Yeah, it looks like I killed them all. Okay, so that was level 100 enemies. Level 100 enemies. And I didn't have a single defensive item on me. And remember, Excalibur has like almost 300% more armor. And you could even have a lot more health and shields with him. All I have on this Mag Prime build is some range, efficiency, a little bit of duration, a little bit of power strength. That's it. And I am defeating level 100s because it's how you use your abilities with these 3 starting frames greatly changes how they play. So never, ever, ever think, oh, well, my frame is only X powerful because it's a starting frame. No. All Warframes have the ability to be fantastic. You just got to give them the time. So when it comes to these 3 starting Warframes, I always would, if I could go back at least, pick Mag. Mag is my favorite. Mag has a lot of cool abilities to her. And really, she's one of those things that you have to kind of be a little bit skilly with. You can drop your bubbles, and energy is a super big problem for her. If she doesn't have the energy, she can't do much. But if she can get the energy, which later in the game you can definitely get a lot of it, then you can magnetize enemies, build for duration, or whatever you want to do, and you could just have one of the most destructive forces in the game. Mag is one of the few Warframes where you can go to the level 1,000 enemies and have no problem. Well, you have to play carefully, but still. Excalibur can go up to level 100, 200, 300 enemies depending on how you build him. And Volt is well known for one of the best forms of damage that you can do in any of the high-end play. So never assume because a frame is a starter frame that it is weak. Never assume that you can't get anywhere because you don't have the best weapons or you don't have friends to help you. You can do all kinds of things with the starting Warframes as long as you know what you're doing. So with that, everybody, I'm going to bid you adieu. I hope you've enjoyed watching the starting Warframe tutorial, how they kind of play together. I will hopefully go into more depth on each Warframe in general. In my next series, I will be doing, this is just the tutorials. The tutorials, the next one I'm going to be doing is arbitrations, which since they just came out, and maybe some more work into the sorties. But after that, I'll be starting into a whole new set of videos focusing on each of the Warframes and their current strengths, which I'll specify which update it's in because I know they change almost every update. So until then, everybody, I hope you've enjoyed watching this video. If you have, like, comment, subscribe. And until next time, thank you everybody so much for watching.